Topic 1. A shooter at the White House Correspondents Association dinner wounded an officer and deployed multiple weapons, prompting vivid scenes and renewed scrutiny of security measures at the event. On the night of April 25, 2026, at the Washington Hilton, gunfire, about 5 shots, sent attendees under tables as the President, First Lady, Vice President, and senior officials were evacuated and chaotic video and photos surfaced. The suspect, reported as 31-year-old Cole Thomas Allen of Torrance, California, was said to be carrying a shotgun, a pistol, and dozens of knives. Secret Service and other law enforcement quickly subdued and detained him. One officer was shot but was wearing a vest and suffered no serious injury. Some attendees sustained minor wounds or bruises, and no mass casualties were reported. Questions about security gaps followed. The suspect apparently entered as a hotel guest and may have assembled weapons outside secured zones, prompting calls for further investigation into how layered protections failed and for reviews of event security. The president praised agents' courage while authorities probe motive and any possible conspirators. Topic 2. Senator Tom Tillis agreed to advance Kevin Warsh's nomination to the Federal Reserve, a procedural step with potential implications for central bank policy and oversight. Republican Senator Tom Tillis, who could have blocked a committee vote, withdrew opposition after the Justice Department's probe of Chair Jerome Powell was closed, and after receiving assurances that further DOJ interference was unlikely, enabling committee action. Kevin Warsh, a former Fed governor nominated by President Trump, pledged in hearings to respect Federal Reserve independence, though Democrats like Elizabeth Warren argue he would be politically pliant. With Tillis's assent, the Banking Committee scheduled a vote, expected Wednesday, making leadership change at the Fed more plausible and raising stakes over policy direction, especially pressure for interest rate cuts. The outcome matters for immediate policy expectations. The Fed is widely expected to hold rates at the next meeting, and for the broader debate over Fed independence as Powell's term ends on May 15th, and political tensions over central bank decisions intensify. Topic 3. The U.S. announced sanctions on Chinese companies for buying Iranian oil, underscoring heightened enforcement in international energy and sanctions policy. American authorities imposed sanctions on Chinese firms that purchased Iranian crude, signaling tougher enforcement of sanctions regimes tied to energy trade. The move highlights U.S. determination to curb Iran's oil revenues and to pressure secondary actors in global energy markets, reinforcing a stricter posture on sanctions compliance. The step is likely to complicate U.S.-China diplomatic and trade interactions and to underscore the use of sanctions as a tool in managing geopolitical and energy security objectives. Topic 4. Financial disclosure shows former President Donald Trump purchased at least $51 million in bonds in March. An OGE financial filing shows Trump bought at least $51 million in bonds in March, though the report lists ranges rather than exact amounts and reports 175 total transactions for the month. Many buys were municipal bonds tied to states, counties, and school districts. Up to 26 purchases, each $1 million, $5 million, were mostly munis or treasuries, and 2 were corporate bonds from Weyerhaeuser and General Motors. He also invested in an ETF tracking high-yield bonds and bought corporate debt across energy, tech, healthcare, and finance sectors from issuers including Constellation Energy, Occidental, Broadcom, NVIDIA, Meta, Microsoft, Citigroup, Goldman Sachs, JPMorgan Chase, and Boeing. The maximum estimated aggregate value across asset classes in the filing is about $161 million. Topic 5. Data show Americans experienced roughly 13 million electricity shutoffs in a year, underscoring energy insecurity and affordability pressures.